So we're going to be doing Marketing 101. A lot of you have met me. I'm Kate Archibald. I am the director here at Go Wellness. So Reagan and I run most of these webinars, and so we try to give you guys some really good tools on how you can increase your new patient incomes. Also, be able to you know increase your patient outcomes as well from a patient result standpoint. But overall, we want to help you build a successful functional medicine practice, or even if it's not functional medicine, help you develop new and innovative ways of obtaining new patients and creating a valuable, high quality experience for your patients. Because I think if you guys look at it, and Reagan talks a lot about it on the webinars, is we're all about creating an experience for a patient rather than just a fee per service. Because if we're just doing a fee per service, then we're doing a disservice to a lot of our patients, but also we're turning ourselves into a commodity. Because services, that's where price gets into the way, and then you'll see a lot of people fighting for different prices and things like that. So we want to help you stay consistent and successful there. So let's talk a little bit more about today. So some things I want to cover is and I want to make sure everybody's here understands what we're going to be going over today. So we're going to be talking about automating your marketing, generating more leads, getting quality people to show up for events. That's a huge one. And then overall, make your marketing work for you rather than you working really hard for your marketing. So just type in the question or the chat box. Who's excited about that? Does this interest you? All right. So I want you guys to really imagine your clinic or your side of the business. If you're just running one piece of it, imagine if you were bringing in if you every one of your events, your weekly events, you had 12 to 18 people attending those. You had between 8 to 12 new patients a week, and you were collecting somewhere between 20 to 35K a week through that one side of the business. And you also have all the tools, knowledge to actually produce that. How does that feel? Really think about how relieving that would be if that was a consistent thing for you and your practice. Because I think if you look at most of the stressors from a practitioner standpoint, or from an owner standpoint, is usually not having enough new patients, not having an automated game plan, because you're always just scratching and clawing to get that next new patient. And then also, obviously, collections is a big thing. But I think if you have the first two, or at least the new patients lined up, typically people can figure out how to generate some income off of those. I think with this new experiential model rather than the fee per service, that's where you can really boost your case average. So in our example, so we have 4 clinics across Utah, all generating around 7-figure numbers annually. So we've worked with a lot of other clients that are now, a lot of our clients are doing the same things, and a lot of people on the phone today are either there or on their way there. But I really want to make sure that I give you some good tools on how to get new patients and keep them as patients. And then I know right now you probably feel like you try so hard to get new patients, and there's so much effort into just getting the phone to ring. And some of you may still do this, but you might spend all day at an expo or an event to come out with 5 new patients that signed up for a free consultation or something like that. Whereas I want to give you a better option and a better outcome, and so hopefully you can gain some good tools from this webinar today. Obviously, if you want to learn more about us, you'll have some opportunities at the end you can even just reply to the email that sends out these webinars if you're interested in learning more and seeing how we could help you from a holistic standpoint. All right, so let's talk a little bit about some of the major steps to create marketing automation. So if you're looking to automate your marketing, obviously there's got to be a process behind that. So the big piece is, at least at a minimum, and I try to do this for at least 6 months, but you got to schedule weekly events for at least 3 months in advance. So this can be events in your office. This can be different dinner seminars or workshops, or you can do different events at corporations. Corporations love if different people come in and speak to them. A lot of times they're going to expect their insurance to cover everything, though, so you got to be ready and to talk to some of those pieces, because a lot of times their insurance isn't going to cover what we do, which is fine. We just you got to make sure you have a good strategy around that. All right, next piece is have weekly or bi-weekly marketing campaigns to promote those events. So some of those things can be as simple as you can use, we've used I still use the newspaper almost constantly, and I know in some markets it's a little different, but in mine, I can generate just from the newspaper at least 10 to 15 people at an event. Um, and so I can attend, get a lot of people to show up just from a newspaper. The other option, so you can do postcards. You can do, obviously, social media works well. You do have to have a lot more volume with social media. We've actually had a lot more success as of late. We've used a different group to help promote some of our social media marketing. But you definitely want to make sure they have to call or do something, and you follow up with them to confirm that they're going to show up. Otherwise, your show rate with social media is pretty low, because it's really easy to say, oh yeah, I'll be there, but they don't actually show up. So make sure there's a couple steps for them to follow. And the third piece that's really important is you got to have a pre-education process. So the first step in that, so that can be through emails if they scheduled online or something like that for an event, or for even a consultation. You're going to have automated emails that are going to have different videos that are going to give you very, they're going to give the patient some education and also help them open their eyes to, okay, this is what they do. This is what East West Health is all about. These are their 5 pillars, and we, if you guys look on I think it's on our East West Health YouTube page, you can actually, if you're one of our clients, you can use our 5 pillars whiteboard video. It works really well to just give an overall, understanding of the 5 pillars and what we do with our functional medicine programs. Then also with staff scripts. So that's one thing that I've noticed. If someone's calling in to schedule for either a dinner talk or some sort of lecture, it's just as um, important to have a good script there as it is to um, as it is to have a good overall presentation, because that's the first interaction with your clinic. And so if you don't have a good, if your staff isn't trained up on what to say to that person, how to engage with them, you want to create some good high quality interaction, because that's the first impression. And so if they have a bad interaction there, they might not even show up to the event, even though they called and said, yeah, I want to come. Or if they do show up, you're going to have to step up your game that much more. So having a really good first impression with that staff. We have scripting. We have a specific script that's on the Kajabi site. So, for all the clients, make sure you remember to grab that and train your staff on that. It's more for if someone's scheduling, but and paying for a consultation, but you just switch it up to same exact script. It's just when it goes to scheduling them and collecting the money, you just schedule them for the event. And then the last piece is you got to have a compelling offer. So at our dinner events, usually we'll give a discounted rate for our initial consultation. So our normal consultation fee is X. You do it today, and you're ready to get ready to schedule this. It's Y. And we have moved away from doing those as free consultations. So if anyone out there is doing free consultation, that's up to you. We look at these events as giving back to the community, and then if someone's really serious, they're willing to put down, they'll put down money to have a good conversation and a full comprehensive wellness evaluation and consultation. So that's those are really just the simple steps. So I want to help you. First of all, let's go through how to schedule your weekly events and look at an actual calendar. I know I've done kind of a diagram or a video of this on the Kajabi site, but I can't I can't reiterate this enough on the calendar side of things. So this is kind of an ugly calendar. I just did it in the PowerPoint, so you'll have to bear with me, but we're just pretending like I don't even know if this is how August lines up, but I wanted to give you guys a clear picture of, okay, what do I need to do to make sure I have my events full, my marketing's automated, I don't have to worry, oh shoot, is anyone going to show up to my event? That answer should always be absolutely, because you have at least one, if not two or three strings going in. So I didn't add anything with social media here. I just mostly used newspaper and postcards. But realistically, you want to start marketing for an event usually about a week before, unless in the newspaper. What I've found is if it's in the newspaper, it's got to be within the next 3 to 4 days. So I'll put, and I always do it in the Sunday paper. I've done Mondays and Tuesdays and things, and just it doesn't get enough traction, at least in my market. Your market might be different. So if you just look at this, so on that Sunday, the top left, that new stands for newspaper. So I'm going to run a newspaper ad specific for my Wednesday event. So and I'll go through a mock ad that we'd use for that event. So let's say this is our autoimmunity, gut bugs, and belly fat event. So I do newspaper event. Phone should be ringing Monday and Tuesday to fill up that Wednesday event. Wednesday, we're calling those people back just to make sure they're coming, confirm, really create a good high quality experience for them. So also on Monday, I'm going to look at and say, okay, on the 24th, I got an event coming up. I want to use postcards to promote that. I've been using the newspaper quite a bit, so I need to alternate that, because if I just eat up the newspaper all the time, then um, my lead quality does start declining. But consistency actually is key. You'll see on the next slide. So I'm going to put together a postcard that will trigger, calls coming from my 24th event. Now, I've also found it successful to do 2 dates on an event. So I could do, say, the 24th, which is a Wednesday, and then maybe advertise for the 7th. Or sorry, not that far away. I'd probably do either the following one, so that September 1st. So we could market both of those. So if they couldn't make the 24th, they can make the 1st, and it doesn't discourage people from calling. If you're going to do 2 events, though, I do 2 different days of the week. So I do like the 24th and then like a Tuesday or a Thursday. You never want to do an event on a Monday, never want to do an event on a Friday. You won't have people show up to those, or if it's on a Friday, it'll probably just be party night for folks. They're not going to be ready to do something health wise. So, but yeah, if you alternate the days on a postcard, if you're advertising for 2 days, what we've found is a lot of times people are like, "Oh, I work late on a Wednesday, but Thursday works great, so I'll attend the Thursday event." So you got to always keep that in mind. But if you go through this calendar just week by week, I should have scheduled something for the second week of August. But yeah, if you look at the 14th, I'm going to have a newspaper come out for the Tuesday event. I'm also going to make sure I get a postcard going on Monday that's for my 9/1 event. I'll also, so then my postcard's going to fuel my 24th event, so I should have been receiving calls on that to get that filled up. On the 29th, I'll get another postcard going for the following week for that 15th, and so on. So that just gives you a good idea of how you want to schedule those. And this is how your calendar should look. And obviously, it should be a lot more detailed, and it should itemize what the event is, what's the location on that, and some of those specifics. Those are pretty intuitive. But if you know when your events are, you have planned marketing for them, and then ultimately what I do is I pass that off to I have a newspaper guy that puts my ads together. He knows exactly what the ad's going to be and when he needs to run it. He'll send me a proof to make sure I'm good. Sometimes I'll say, "Hey, I want to try this new ad," or I'll change it up, and they're totally flexible with that. They like that. They appreciate that. They'll give you better rates if they know your schedule in advance and they know that you're going to be a consistent customer. And I haven't had anyone try to lock me into a contract. I take that back. They have tried, but if you negotiate well enough and just say, "Hey, look, I'm not going to sign a long-term contract, but I will tell you this is what I'm looking to do, and if it works out for me, then I'll keep doing it. If it doesn't, then I'm gonna have to switch things up." So, yeah, no, usually they'll still give you some great rates. Newspaper-wise, postcards, same exact thing. I have a gal that does all my postcards. I also have through Facebook. Well, you can do different event ads and everything. What you do want to do though, you may want to get a tech person to get online, or at least have it connected to your website. So the Facebook ad, it shouldn't just be attend an event and they click yes on that, the Facebook ad. You need to have it link to your website and them actually fill out a form and actually go through a couple steps. Otherwise, the show rate is pretty poor for those. So then post event or post scheduling, you want to make sure that you are getting them pre-educated. So once once someone calls in and says, "Hey, I want to attend your thyroid event coming up on Wednesday," they should have an email that you're sending to them, like right after you get off the phone, congratulating them for taking the first step towards better health. There should be a video on there, either introducing the to introduce the speaker, um, and then also to introduce the clinic and give them an overall idea what your approach is, what the clinic's all about, because people want to see that. And a lot of times they can get that on your website, but if you make it a little more personable, get it directly in their inbox straight from you as a thank you, it goes leaps and bounds, and they're that much more attentive when they get to that event. And you want to do the same before someone comes in for a consultation. Even if they do come to an event, we send them videos once they schedule a consultation, because you want to make sure that they've seen your face. Our goal is at least 3 times before they actually show up at your office. And that can be through video, that can be through a live event at a dinner talk, and that can be through other mediums. But you want them to see your face a couple times. They're just going to be that much more comfortable with you. All right, so let's talk a little bit about keys to promoting the event. So to the right here, that's one of the ads that I've used recently to promote our autoimmunity. Our autoimmunity campaign. So it's worked really effective. So yeah, this is actually the one I'm using for this Wednesday. So some keys, consistency is actually a really good factor. So what we often hear, so when we first started doing some of these dinner talks, we'd have a decent amount of people show up. But it was actually about, I'd say the 4th or 5th time around, we'd actually have more people, and they kept saying, "Oh, I saw your dinner ad or your last seminar. I just wasn't quite ready to go, but I'm ready to do something. This ad called to me." So sometimes it does take consistency. One thing, if you notice, this ad is not that sexy. There's not a lot of glossiness. There's not some pretty lady on it. It's like the picture's pretty dull. You got bold letters and some red and black, which those are marketing colors, but you want it to be eye-catching, and sometimes ugly and dull is not bad, especially postcards. What we've noticed is if you make it an awkward size, so it's not necessarily like the typical postcard size, try to make it like, if you guys know, if you've ever got like an overdraft statement or some sort of a statement from your bank, kind of that same size and that, kind of flimsy material with an ugly picture, like the 4 body types always catches people's eye. So that's a really good one for postcards as well. And you can use that on for Facebook ads as well. We get a lot of clicks with that. And then some other factors you want to have on there: specific dates. Whether there's 1 or 2 dates, you got to get a specific date and you got to get a topic. If you just send out like, "Hey, we do weekly dinner talks on health. Come join us Wednesdays at 6." You might have 1 or 2 phone calls, but if you have, autoimmunity, or, we do thyroid, stress, and digestive health a lot, that topic, I don't think I've had less than 12 people show up in an event for that topic. And I ran that ragged for, 9 months straight. And then, I try to alternate them though. I get bored with the same presentation every week, so I try to alternate it as well. But that can be really, that'll drive people, because it's like, "Oh, hey, I have a thyroid problem, or I have some digestive problems. I want to learn more." Whereas if it's just like a generalized health thing, it's tough. Belly fat always gets people there, but you definitely, what we've noticed is you will have, the people in those that respond to the belly fat ads are a little, I'd say they're a little more challenging to close on, converting to an RF, but it's still, it can still be really good. So don't be discouraged by that at all. So some additional tips, and I went over a couple of these things. So you always want to create a positive experience throughout, this whole process. So the introductory video and email is very crucial. One thing that we started doing is printing name tags. So when they call in, make sure that you get the right spelling and let them know, hey, we're going to be printing your name. I want to make sure I get the right spelling. How do you spell that, or whatever the case is. But print the name tags. It looks very professional when you put those on, or at least have name tags. It'd be worse not to have a name tag. So that way it makes it a lot more engaging for the presenter as well. Third bullet there, ensure whoever answers the phone develops rapport. So if you have a script, they follow that script should develop a rapport. So there's two ways that you can develop rapport with someone. So it can either be you guys find likeness, so you're alike. So if you guys, I can build rapport with you by finding something that's we have similarities to. Or the second one is people are attracted to people they want to be more like. So those are the two factors. So I might have something that's like a characteristic or some sort of charismatic thing that person wants. So you got to address one of those two factors, and usually the likeness one is the easier of the two. But sometimes, especially when someone's coming in calling with health issues, and you're able to relate and say, "Oh yeah, we had a patient that we dealt with similar cases, or we've dealt with patients with similar problems, and we've been able to get them great results." You just developed rapport because you have something that person doesn't have but wants to have. The fourth piece, produce an emotionally charged presentation. So you want to hit multiple emotional points. So you want to get them angry. So obviously, and you guys have seen our webinars that Reagan's given on different presentations, but you got to touch on anger points, get them angry at the healthcare system, the different crises happening. You want to get them happy and laughing and hit emotional strings there as well. Last piece is have an efficient sign up process. So don't make it cumbersome. Make sure you have a good someone that's coming around, scheduling them, collecting payment. And it shouldn't take rocket science, but at the same time, make it simple and easy for the patient or the person at the dinner talk. Don't it's okay if it adds extra steps for you, because you want to make it as seamless and as comfortable for that person as possible. All right, so here are some big whatnots to do with your events, or just in general. So some big ones, or one big one that we've noticed that a lot of people will get stuck on is you can't think that people are coming for a free meal. It absolutely kills your energy. You're going to have people that'll come for a free meal if you're doing any sort of free event with a meal provided. Yeah, you might have a couple. The way you have to look at it, it's a way of giving back to the community. You're giving great education. And you're giving them a good meal. Don't get caught up on someone coming in and leaving without signing up, because that's always going to happen. But if you let that affect you, you're going to kill your energy. Second piece, not using the people's name in the audience. That's a killer as well. So you get name tags for a reason. You want to get that audience engaged. And if you're calling them out, not calling them by name, using their name throughout that lecture, they're going to be a lot more attentive. So they won't fall asleep on you. They won't. They're and you'd be surprised that person's name that you use. So like 90% of the time, they're going to be scheduling because they are, they feel that connection by you calling out their name. Not being transparent about your desire for each one of them to schedule a visit with you at the end. So that's another what not to do at the event. So at the beginning, when you start your presentation, be very transparent and tell them exactly what your goals are. So you want to A, educate them, and B, you want to give them an opportunity to come in for a discounted consultation. It's a lot better to be transparent up front rather than the whole time they're wondering, okay, what's this guy selling me? What's this guy trying to do? And then at the end, it's like, okay, and then this is what it is. They're like, there's the catch. So if you just tell them what the catch is at the beginning, that actually gets their guard down, and they'll listen a lot more intently. And a lot of people, just ask permission to do that. So if you ask permission for it, they're more than willing to do that. And then obviously, not deliver direct benefits to the value of the attendees. So at the beginning, always make sure you ask, get an idea what brought the crowd in, and then let them know, hey, okay, we're going to be covering that. You want to have direct benefits to what they have. So that's going to build a lot more value. And then obviously not using the art of influence in the close. That's a what not to do. So definitely use the art of influence. So you got to close them on the idea that their life can be much more rewarding if they get their health back. There's no other way to do that other than what you're presenting. So it's got to be that parody. All right. So just in some closing pieces here, I want to go over some other pre-education tools that you can use. So we've talked a little bit about emails. Emails can be really effective, but I would always make sure that you have a video attached to it. You have high quality content that's personable. So as I was going over the marketing process, so if you go back, the simple process is you want to schedule events, have weekly, bi-weekly marketing campaigns, pre-educate through email, staff scripts, videos, and ebooks can also be a really good way of pre-educating people. So one thing that we've done, I think we have about 5 to 6 different ebooks that we have created digitally. And actually, if anyone is interested in getting their own ebooks for their clinic, we have a service where we can brand those personally for your clinic. So you can have them either on your website, or some of our clients will even print them out and bind them. They make them look really good. Our stem cell ebook is on our front desk, or is on our reception desk, so people can read that while they're in the lobby. But that can be really effective. So those are 3 different ways that you can use pre-education. What you don't want to have happen is have a patient come in that looked on your site for 5 minutes, gave you a call, scheduled a consultation, and they come in and they're expecting you to fix them, because then you're going down a whole nother rabbit hole of pre-educating them when they get to the office. Whereas we want to help you automate your process and pre-educate them before they ever even come into that office. They got to see your face multiple times. And then, like I said at the beginning, get your marketing calendar scheduled. If you're not doing some sort of weekly event, I am curious how you're driving leads. Yeah, there's different marketing avenues that you can do that you don't have to do events, but that makes your pre-education process that much more critical. Um, but if you are doing events, or if you want to stay in practice whatsoever, schedule out your marketing strategy. Have it at least three months is like a bare bones minimum, but I would say 6 months to even a year. That's usually what we'll look at. And schedule weekly processes and weekly events that drive leads and drive new patients. And then you can always tweak those and change them as you go. But that's my big challenge for you guys today. I know this webinar is scheduled to be till 10:30. This is what I have for you guys today. Before I jump off, I just want to open it up. Does anyone have any questions for me, or anything like that? Normally I just unmute you, but since usually it ends up being a bigger hassle, just raise your hand or just fire off a couple questions. If I can help you guys answer anything, I want to be here to help continue to see you succeed and rock this.
Hey, Kate.
Yeah,
Hey, it's Reagan.
Reagan, how you doing?
Hey, good. Hey, nice webinar. It's awesome. Hey,
Thanks, man.
how did it go with coordinating with the yoga studio? You've done a couple events over there, haven't you?
Yeah, so that's actually a really good question. We've started doing lunch lectures over at we have a yoga studio that's right next to us. So they have some empty space during lunchtime because they don't do yoga classes. So I have worked out a deal. So I'll actually utilize their space for about 2 hours a week to do some lunches. So I'll cater a lunch, and then we'll do either a stem cell or a thyroid or one of our functional medicine topics. And yeah, they've actually turned out to be really successful because people get a walk by our clinic, check out our clinic, and then they go into that space, and it's a really nice studio. So it's a cool experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you guys can, if people can find different ways to network that way, it can be really helpful.
What's the exchange with them?
So what we've developed is I think we pay like $50 per week for that space.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Nice.
Yeah, and
Cool.
we're
Well, that's
working
all.
on getting that to trade. Jared's been telling JT he's got to get in and get some treatment, so that's
Perfect.
probably where it will go.
Perfect.
Yeah. Any other questions? All right. Well, you guys have been great. At the beginning, at least, you guys fired off a lot of good stuff. So I look
Cool.
forward to hearing your great success and you guys killing it. You guys have a good day.
Bye bye.